Perush, if this looks stupid, just edit it out. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down all the top voiceover lingo that newbies need to know, but you probably don't know. Or maybe you're a pro and you're watching this and you get some entertainment out of it. By the way, you guys have requested this video so many times, but I didn't know if I could make it fun, and I like to make these fun. You need to know this stuff, so I'm going to tell you. So, coming in hot, number 1. A slate. A slate. If you don't know voiceover, you probably don't know what a slate is. You're like, what? Is it like a board or something like that? Slate of what? It's a professional introduction at the start of an audition. Sometimes it's your name followed by some information. Largely, you don't do slates anymore. It's pretty rare these days. You'll get them from your agent, and usually it's because they want to have some information. Like, for instance, you'll slate your name and then what city you're in if they're doing something local. So, for instance, I would say Jesse Carroll, New York. Number 2. A DAW, a digital audio workstation. It's your recording software. I use Adobe Audition. You can use Audacity. It's free. Number 3, Source Connect. Source Connect is a professional software for remote recording sessions with clients. Source Connect, basically, it's a digital connection from your studio into another studio. And it's a live connection, which is, well, should be super, super, super clean. And they'll use it a lot when they're gonna connect to you, but then the studio that you're connected to, they're gonna do the mixing there. And oftentimes they'll mix it to picture. So literally you could be in the booth recording and they could mix it to picture, and then they could edit it all live and everything and do all the EQ and compression, and they can finish the ad with your voice on it right there with you on the call, and then it can go live on a commercial, and it often does right afterwards. So don't say you have Source Connect until you get it, because it's extremely finicky, and you probably need some help setting it up. I have bad memories. An ABC take. An ABC take is 3 different interpretations of the same line. Here it has, I have like this thing called Sintra, which is like these AI little employees, and they can do cool things. Actually, I don't know, I could show you what this is. We'll flip over to like a share screen here for a second. Do this and I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. Hey, this is what I'm looking at. So this is what it is here. It says, ABC take. If the line is, buy now, get next month free at Orange Theory. That's a commercial I actually did. We did a bunch of ABCs of that. That's the whole thing. It's just a tagline. So they'll say, hey, Jesse, give me an ABC of that. And I'll go, buy now, get next month free at Orange Theory. Buy now, get next month free at Orange Theory. Buy now, get next month free at Orange Theory. Just give it 3 different takes. 3 different energies, 3 different speeds. Let's go to the next one. I'm doing my best to jazz this up, guys. It's pretty dry. I'm dying over here. Let me know in the comments how I'm doing. Self-direction, the ability to interpret scripts and make performance choices without direction. This is how you're gonna do most of your voiceover jobs, at least in the beginning. You just record it on your own. There's like 85 of these, so I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time going through all of them. So we're just going to run on through them now. Conversational read. You know what that is? Just sound conversational, like when you're talking in real life. Super simple. Room tone. Recording of silence in your studio needed for editing. There's a legit one. So if you haven't done voiceover before, you probably don't know what it is. Room tone is used in different ways. So it's they'll take room tone to eliminate background noise. You know, you can take a profile of your room tone without saying anything. Don't move. Don't even breathe. And take the room tone of that and then apply it to your whole file. Every room has a tone, has a noise floor, which we'll get to in a second. Punch in, drop in. Re-record specific portions without doing the whole take. No one really says that, you know? You just do it. They might say, can you do a pickup? That's more like what you're going to be asked on a regular basis. Short recordings of specific phrases, like doing a pickup of line 2, Jess, please, can you do that? I don't know, that's what they say to me. This is entertaining, if not anything else, I'm sure. So, what next? Pop filter, the screen that prevents plosive sounds, PBT sounds. What about a K sound, buddy? Huh, buddy? What about a K sound? A pop filter is a thing. It just goes in front of your mic. I don't have one here. I guess that you could consider this a pop filter, kind of. But pop filter is like a screen thing. Treated space, room with acoustic treatment for clean recording. Usage rights, terms defining where, how long your voice can be used. If you're doing a contract and they want to get you up with in perpetuity usage rights, that means they can use your voice forever in the manner that they wanted to. So don't sign anything that says usage rights in perpetuity across all media, unless you know, you're pretty certain it's never going to be used, and it's like a bullshit brand that's a startup or something like that. So just be careful what you're doing. We'll talk contracts another time. We'll do that in a different video. I'm sure you want to know about contracts and negotiating. We'll do that coming up soon. Buyout, one-time payment for unlimited use of your recording. Be careful with that one too. It's too complicated to get into right now in situations you would or wouldn't. I wouldn't say you wouldn't do that ever. You just got to be careful about how you do it. Proximity effect. I know what it is. I haven't really heard it used. Like if you're getting your audio checked by like Jordan Reynolds, the Audio Ninja, or George the Tech, that might talk about proximity effect and where you should put your microphone. But other than that, like, you know, they're not really going to use that phrase in a directed session. If you're working with a director, they just might say clearly, hey, get close to the microphone. But it just makes it, you know, the bass increases when you get closer to it, obviously. Watermark. Overlay audio over auditions from unauthorized use. I don't do this. It's pretty, like, I've only ever had my voice stolen once, and it wasn't from an audition. It was from a job I did, and they sold it to another company, and then they used it like unapologetically in national broadcast, and they're getting sued. Don't worry about watermarking your auditions. Just, if you're worried about it, don't put audio overlay on it. The clients hate that. They can't understand it, where they can't hear your voice clearly is what I meant. So if you want to do something to watermark it, then like when it comes to the company, let's say it's a Nike ad and they want you to read the whole thing and it's for pay to play, don't do this for your auditions for agents. Never watermark an audition for an agent. Never omit any words like I'm about to tell you for an agent. But for pay to play, like voice123voices.com, if you're worried about your audio getting stolen from your audition, just say, instead of saying, say the company's Nike or Microsoft, say company name instead. Or don't say the last line, or don't say the website at the end, or the call to action. Leave something out. Pay to play. That's the pay to play, the paid casting sites. Voices.com, Voice123. Here it says ACX. That's not a pay to play site. ACX is free. Pay to play literally means you pay a membership to play, to get auditions. Conflict. Inability to voice for competing brands. Yeah. Well, the client may ask of you if you have any conflicts, but to which you always say no. Unless the only way you have a conflict is if you signed exclusivity rights. So I could have an ad for Nike and Adidas up, and that's fine. They may not like it. I can't get in trouble for it. But if I signed an exclusivity contract, there's another one that's not on this list. Way to go, buddy. You missed an important one. Exclusivity is a contract that you would sign so they can use your voice exclusively in that genre, in that brand. But you're not going to sign an exclusivity clause unless it's big bucks. Over 10K, 20K, 30K, 50, 100. Residuals, ongoing payments for continued use of your voice. So that would be more along the lines if you're in like SAG or the union or something like that. You'll get residuals that way. The way residuals, I guess, could be translated for non-union work, although they do happen sometimes, would be more of like re-upping. So like re-upping would be like if you signed a broadcast spot for 3 months and 3 months is up and they will still want to use it, they'll pay you again for it, which is kind of like residuals, but not really. It's just paying for the usage of it again, re-upping. Circle takes, best variation mark during, so what? I've never even heard this. Presence, quality, making voice sound immediate and close. Yeah, that's just what it is. Interface, hardware connecting your mic to your computer. That is important. That is the box. It's like a little digital box, and you plug your XLR microphone into it, and it's going to translate to a digital signal and go into your computer. I like the Focus. Right, Scarlett, by the way, don't get the Solo, the new one, get the 2i2. The Solo has integration issues with like Audacity and some DAWs that beginners are starting out on. So don't get the Solo, it's junk. Focusrite, you're a good company, and your 2i2 is great, but your Solo is junk. This is probably the weirdest one I've ever done, isn't it? What are we at? 18 minutes. Parush is going to kill me. I would keep calling Parush. It's Parush. Okay, one more time. Parush or Parush? You're gonna hate me. We've been working together for a long time now, and I still screw his name up. He's gonna call me GC next time he sees me. He's moving to gain staging, proper setting of recording levels. That's more for like people that are in production. You're not gonna really need to know that. Wild lines, additional recordings without picture sync. Wild lines, they might say, hey, do a few wilds of some lines that they may use. Oftentimes they're not even in the script. If you're in a live directed session, it may be that somebody from some other department in the company was like, hey, we need to say this just in case, or we need to get this. I'll ask you to do some wilds at the end, and then they'll just inject it in the script if they need it. ADR, automated dialogue replacement. If they have a plane go over top or something screwed up the dialogue on the day when they're shooting a movie, they'll have the actors come back and do ADR. Voila, we don't need to know that. That's just background conversation noise. That's a job. The mumbling in the background of movies. Apparently it pays pretty good too. Well, okay for like a job where you just got to go. It's literally 10:45 and I'm doing one of these because I got to get one out and I ran out of ideas. I just, you guys keep asking me for this, so I'm giving it to you. I'm giving you the people what they want. Prelay. This is important for anybody that wants to know about animation. Voiceover recording done before animation. You have prelay, and I think the other one is called inlay. I don't know. Prelay. So like you're voicing the character, and then they're gonna make the animation around your voice, like something like Disney does. I think inlay. Let me just Google real quick. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. It's I guess technically ADR, but it's dubbing. It's not inlay, it's dubbing. So all the animes you see, pretty much most of them, especially if they're coming from Japan and there was always already an incredibly talented Japanese anime actor voicing it, they'll dub it here in North America or wherever you happen to be. They'll dub it in your own language. And you gotta follow how it was done originally and try to time the way you talk to the lips. That's why I don't do dubbing. It's too hard. So that's massive brain fart. That might also be why I don't really work in video games animation yet. We're on it. Stack, multiple layers of your voice. I haven't heard that. Split rights, haven't heard that. Union scale, standard union payments. You don't need to know that at the beginning. IVR, interactive voice response, phone system. This is answering machines, direct response. These are getting weird now. ISDN, legacy remote recording system. It's rare you're ever going to use this. It's so rare that I've never used it in 7 years, but it's a thing. It's like, picture an alternative to Source Connect, although not Source Connect, but something like that. It's a way to record and connect with people. Phantom power is something that a lot of all condenser mics are going to use. Also some shotgun mics like the Sennheiser 416, but not the Shure SM7B, which I'm using here, which uses the Cloud Lifter. Signal chain, audio processing elements. Getting bored yet? I didn't really check I didn't proofread Buddy's work before I did this. He's getting some good stuff, but a lot of this is like, what? Normalization. It's the process of optimizing audio levels. It's just bringing the audio up to typically -3, sometimes -1 dB. Normalize your audio is the final thing that you do. Some people do it in the middle and at the end if they're using compressors and stuff, but normalization is going to bring up the volume to -3. So those are the terms you've been asking for, you filthy animals. So let's have some fun. If there's any that I left out, throw them into the comments. Let's see how many other terms are unique to voiceover that people might not know. Let's try and get for like 100 more. Let's see how boring we can make this video. If you weren't bored to death by this video and you actually found some entertainment aspect out of this and you got enlightened with some terms you never heard before, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more boring ass shit like this. I'm just kidding. If you found this overwhelming, this was more for fun than anything, guys. You will learn all of these terms as you go. Voiceover, when you get into it, can be super daunting. There's a lot of stuff you got to learn. So it can be pretty helpful to, get coaching, get a helping hand, get in a good community of like-minded people. Don't join one of those negative Facebook groups. You want to get around some good people. If you want to get around some good people, check the links below. Of course, if you're brand new and you're not sure if VoiceOver is for you and you want to see what it takes to get started, join my free community. Hey, it's free. Links below. I got my awesome paid community as well. All other ways to reach me. So yeah. That was some terminology for your asses. And this was a video. Was it a video? I don't know. We'll see. Next one, I don't know. I'll come in with something good for you. I want to do this. I had to get it out of the way. There's terminology. You got to know it. So other than that, I've been Jesse Carroll. This has been a video, and we will see you in the next one. Peace. Real ass person. I can't talk. Can't do it.